Hello, I'm Raul, your angelic messenger, and welcome to Enlightened Conversations. My guest today is Paula Scarmozzino. Paula is a passionate naturopath and weight loss specialist of over 14 years. She holds 2 science degrees from Melbourne University and the Melbourne College of Natural Medicine, as well as 2 diplomas in Herbal Medicine and Nutrition. Paula's vision is to provide excellence in leadership and education to inspire and empower people worldwide to reach their highest potential with their health and happiness. Her aim is to help her patients discover their purpose and the life path by a holistic wellness journey, and to lead others through professional excellence, committed service, and compassionate care. She's the director of her multi-dimensional clinic in Preston, only about 10 kilometers from the center of Melbourne in Australia. Welcome, Paula, to Enlightened Conversations.
Thank you so much, Raul. It's an absolute honour and pleasure to be here with you. I'm very blessed that you've asked me to be here, and I've invited Spirit to speak through me and with me, and to really hope to touch people out there, even if it's just one person. If it's a message that they need to hear, then I'm so thrilled and privileged to be that vessel. So thank you.
Truly our pleasure. When Michelle actually asked me to host these 5 shows and said, okay, start looking for your guests, the first name that came to mind and your face came to mind. So I knew that you actually to be here.
Thank you so much, Raul. It's an absolute amazing honour.
Beautiful. Let's start the conversation. And we were chatting before, and the idea is, as I was saying in your introduction, you're actually committed to helping people and to help them with compassionate care. But the underpinning of all of this is truly the love that you, Paula, puts into everything that you do, including the practitioners that are working there with you. So let's talk a little bit about that underpinning love.
Yeah. I think ultimately there's only ever 2 emotions. I think it's either love or fear. Really, that's what it comes down to. And I learned this a very long time ago when I myself went through some hardship as a young adult, and a very dear friend of mine purchased a book for me, and it was called Conversations with God from Neil Donald Walsh. And that just opened the door to this amazing opportunity that life could hold. When I really understood that there was either love or there was fear, and what do I choose? And I made the choice to choose love. And since then, my life has gone from strength to strength. And I'm doing a job that I truly love and am passionate about. And I feel like I'm surrounded by like-minded practitioners that are in it for the right reasons. And it's more than just, I guess, your training in whatever modality that you've chosen. It's so much more than that. It comes from a deep willingness and wanting to make a difference in people's lives. And that ultimately is love, you know, just helping people on their journey. And when they're struggling and you're able to shine that light and give them the hope. And I know, Raul, you help me so much. And your definition of hope is have only positive expectations. And I always have that. It's almost like a recording in my mind. Hope. Let's just hope. And love will prevail. Love is the key to everything. And I see this time and time again in clinic. And it's just, I feel honoured. I really do. To be able to show people how they can have more love in their lives. So, yeah, it is all about love.
Yeah. Michelle had a guest a little while ago, a really good friend of hers, and the name escapes me, and I'm terribly sorry that your name escapes me, but she was talking about working through your emotions and truly working, kind of like passing through the fear and pushing forward. Feel it fully, but then don't allow it to hold you back, and then get at the other end, feeling the love for everything that you have learned, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And you were talking about conversations with God. What was it, apart from that you were saying 2 emotions, fear and love, what was it that book actually captured you?
Really good question. And I think the most important thing about it was choice. It was everything starts with a thought, it leads to a word, leads to a deed. And it's up to you to choose what thought are you going to have. And that dictates the words that we choose to use and our actions and our behaviours. So we can choose fear. And oftentimes it's easier. It can be a bit of a scapegoat at times too, to choose fear because, you know, it's almost like our ego protecting us. And so we fall prey to that. But then when we say, well, hang on, we actually have another choice. So let's see what love prevails. Let's see what love will offer. And then when you start to be authentic in that, and you do that more than giving into fear, again, the opportunities are endless. You know, this big door is open and more doors open after that. And so you have a natural inclination to keep choosing love. And of course, we're human, so sometimes we do regress, and sometimes we, you know, do fall back into that little trap. But again, it's that little voice inside saying, hang on, there is another choice. What else do you want to choose? And that is empowering. And again, in my practice, that's what I'm all about. It's about showing people and making them feel empowered to make other decisions for their health, for their well-being, and not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually as well. Just getting them to understand that they are in the driver's seat, that they should feel empowered. And although it sometimes is easier to choose fear over love, love is going to give them so much more in the long run. And love for themselves and love for their body.
I agree with what you were saying about the fear, and you were talking about the ego, and nobody's perfect, including myself. And I think that the emotion of fear is, when we allow the ego to interfere, it's kind of like a comfortable place to be. We've been there before. We've been many times before. And which I think, okay, let's go and feel the fear, because you know what? I know what's going to happen. And you just run 1,000 miles an hour in your head, and you allow yourself to go with that without realizing that, you know what? There is a much pleasant emotion that is love. However, sometimes you need to work through the fear in order to truly not only comprehend, but appreciate and be grateful for the love that you receive. And I'm sure that you can resonate with that.
Absolutely, absolutely. Without a doubt, I think sometimes, and I know me personally, sometimes you have to reach rock bottom. You've got to hit rock bottom to know that there is, you know, it's all about contrast. In order to see the light, sometimes you've got to actually, I think you need to experience the dark. And so once you understand that there is another side, then that again just opens up so many opportunities. But, you know, I think, and a lot of people that I speak with, particularly patients in clinic, they can turn their life around once they have hit that, you know, that downer, and they've gone into that black hole. And then that, I guess that gives them the experience and the knowledge and the know-how to then pull themselves out of that black hole in the future, because they've made other choices and they know where that's led them. It's led them to a brighter future, and that's through love, essentially.
I truly appreciate the concept of you were saying hitting rock bottom. I've been there many times, but the issue with it is that sometimes we build this house of cards, and it hasn't got the foundation that it needs to in order to fulfill your higher purpose. And well, the house of cards, you just remove one card or you just blow on it, and it's going to go everywhere. And the idea of hitting that rock bottom, in my opinion, is for us to really realize that we can actually build a house with a much better foundation, because there's nowhere further to go. We are there, we are at the bottom. We can only start afresh and new, but truly paying attention to the lessons learned from the way up all the way to the way down at the bottom, and build really a good structure that primarily, and sometimes I think that it's important to mention here, people sometimes think that you need to be everything to everybody around you. And most importantly, you're going to have to be, in my opinion, a little bit selfish and be the best for you first. It's like when we get on an aeroplane and they tell you, if the mask comes down, put it on you first before helping others. And sometimes we are so much into helping others that we forget about ourselves. But by hitting that rock bottom, hopefully we can actually help ourselves and others to build a foundation that will withstand the new lessons to be learned.
Yeah. I love what you just said, Raul. I think that hit the nail on the head. I think the best way to love others is really to love yourself first. And it's oftentimes that we, you know, either we disregard, and again, coming back to health, we disregard our bodies and we disregard, and we may be somewhat of a martyr at times. And I know myself personally that I'm helping everyone else. And then I forget about me. I think, but how about me? And people say, well, you're helping everyone else. Why, you know, set some time aside during the week and do something that you enjoy, that you love. And so over the years, I've really realised that I've got to love myself and I've got to respect myself. And sometimes that means being selfish. Sometimes that means speaking up. And oftentimes it's like, oh, I don't want to hurt that other person. Well, I know that, you know, something is not quite right, and, you know, I'd rather just keep peace. But I think it's important, though, to stand up for what you believe in, because that's truly showing self-love and self-respect. And then I think other people it'll be a domino effect, because then they will have more respect for you because you've had respect for yourself. You know yourself better than anyone else. If you don't have respect for you, why should anyone else respect you? So this is a big lesson, in fact, that I'm going through right now, and it's empowering, and I feel more authentic as a result of really honouring who I am, and perhaps being that bit selfish, but in always a loving way. And I feel like the domino effect is that people see me in a different light, but in a respectful light. So totally agree with what you're saying.
Yeah, it's about sometimes putting boundaries, and
yep.
Sometimes it's difficult, and you need to get at a point of perhaps loggerheads in order for you to say, okay, I'm going to speak my truth now,
yep.
but I'm also going to let you know that these are my boundaries. As you were saying, in a nice, compassionate way, but also speaking your truth. But the idea of loving yourself first. My sister that lives in the US in Florida, she's a Reiki master, and she taught me an exercise which is quite confronting. I'm not only sharing it with you, but with everybody else that is actually listening. So thank you, Marilyn, for teaching me that exercise. She said, loving yourself is about coming out of the shower and fully naked in front of a full-length mirror, and then looking at every part of you from the top of your head all the way down, loving it without criticism. If you criticize, you go back to the top. And you keep on going back. So every criticism takes you back to the top of your head until you fully love everything that you got. And she was saying, obviously I'm not a parent, but her as a mother, she was saying, you need to love, and you will probably appreciate this, you need to love your stretch marks, because those stretch marks gave you your kids. And there's perhaps nothing more important than the love of your children. But you cannot receive that love unconditionally from them if you don't really love yourself. And that's the idea that we're sending out there. If anyone is willing to do that exercise, no one needs to be around, no one's going to record you, do it in front of a mirror. It is confronting, because I don't think that any one of us will stand in front of a mirror naked, truly going through every part of your body. I don't think that anybody does that. And it is confronting, because you think, oh my God, you start criticizing and you think, okay, back to the top. But it's something to truly appreciate who you are, the journey that you have been on. And I can only speak for myself, but the journey has been, it has ups and downs. At times it has been like a heart attack, and at times it has been smooth sailing. But every experience that I have had brought me to this conversation here with you.
Yeah. I love that. I absolutely love that, Raul. I think you couldn't have spoken more beautiful words in terms of, you know, as a mother, and I've got two beautiful daughters who I love and adore, and they're old souls, and they're just amazing. And every time I think about criticizing myself, I think, look what I created. Look what I was blessed with, that they chose me as their mum. And you know, a few stretch marks or a little bit of cellulite. That's a very small price to pay for what I've been blessed to, you know, to share my life with. Absolutely, totally agree with that. And I think, and Louise Hay says it quite a lot, and I'm always listening to Louise Hay and have been for years and years. And I've got her in the car at the moment on audio, so every time I hop in, the girls are used to it as well. Mum, I love this, I love this. Don't put it on the radio station. I want to hear what Louise has to say. And she says that you're in exactly at the right place at the right time always. That everything is only ever happening for you and not to you. Yeah. And so it's, you know, it's a learning process. We need the lows as much as we need the highs. In fact, without the lows, we're not going to appreciate those beautiful moments in our life because there's no point of comparison. And this is a message that I convey to patients all the time, that you might be in a rut at the moment, but you know what? It's a necessary part of your journey, and embrace it and actually have gratitude for it. And I think that's what it comes down to. Love essentially is being grateful and finding gratitude in even the smallest of things. And sometimes we have really bad days, like where you find nothing to be grateful for. But I remember, I don't know if I read something or I heard something that it said, even on those darkest days, and you can't find anything to put in your gratitude journal, be grateful for the postman that delivered that massive bill to you for the electricity. The fact that the electricity company had faith in you that you were going to pay that bill, I'm grateful for that. Like, put that in your gratitude journal. There's always something. It depends on your choices, on what you choose to believe and what you choose to think. Mm-hmm. And it can be so easy to go back into that, you know, negative thought process, because again, like you said, Raul, it's just a habitual thing. It's something that we're used to, that we're comfortable with, that comfort zone. But challenge those thoughts. Challenge what it is that you normally do, and, you know, look at a brighter side, because there's always a brighter side to everything. So yeah, I love your perspective, Raul, and I always have, and that's why I always see you as a patient as much as a colleague. I have great respect for your take on life, and it's a beacon of light for me, as I'm sure it is for all of your clients. So I'm grateful.
Thank you so much. Likewise, we're in this together. We come as individuals, but we come into this oneness, into this idea that whatever we do is going to link to somebody else, and that somebody else will help somebody else. But we live in a society that we are bombarded by newspapers, magazines, television on the life that we should lead. Yes. Mm-hmm. The car that you should drive. And I know, I've been there, I've done that. And suddenly you need to truly, and I can only speak from myself, you need to truly lose it all. Material things, just lose it all, let it go, to truly build a foundation with, you know what, sure, I used to drive a Mercedes-Benz and today I catch a train. Does it make me a different person? Well, perhaps yes, because I've learned different things and I tend to appreciate differently. And people see me for who I am, not for what I drive. But for many years, it was my aim to buy the first Mercedes-Benz, then to buy the next one because it was the best, and the third, and you go into this treadmill that you think, where is this taking me? And what am I doing to myself? What do I need to prove to anybody else? And you know what, Paula? It's not about the car, it's about what the car represents. Mm-hmm. If you can afford to drive a BMW or Mercedes, brilliant, and do that, and I love that. But I was at a point in my life that I was doing it not for me anymore. Mm-hmm. It was a status symbol. And once you hit that rock bottom and things go everywhere, you realize who stays around. Mm-hmm. And in many cases, friends disappears and also family disappears. And it makes you sad and it makes you feel like, oh my God, I thought that you loved me for me and now you don't. And in other cases, you've got people that they will do anything for you regardless of whether you've got that Mercedes-Benz or not. Mm-hmm. And those could be family, as it happened to be me, and friends. But I have both sides. Friends and family disappeared. And you realize, well, if you're only in my life for whatever I can offer you, material things, you know what? I can offer you so much spiritually. I am so sad that you were unable to see it. And that perhaps it was my fault for only showing just material things. Mm-hmm. And I think it's an important point to make to all of us and to people listening to our conversation today, is that do what is right for you. Do what you love. Buy whatever you want to buy, but not because you need to prove anything to anybody. Live the life that you are meant to live and to lead, because at the end of the day, Spirit is not saying to us, we came here to suffer. No, we came here to actually learn. And sometimes we need to have some hard lessons. And we need to decide which way we're going to go. And today, for today, despite of I'm still dealing with medical issues and so forth, perhaps within all of that, it's at a point in life that I'm at my happiest. Mm-hmm. And it took that point of, okay, let's go down rock bottom and let's build ourselves up again. Not pleasant, but it was necessary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally hear you, Raul, and I'm so on the same wavelength, so on the same page. But it's just taking one day at a time, and on those, when we encounter those obstacles and those hurdles, it's like you said before, it's about just letting it pass, just taking and being patient with yourself, because oftentimes it's this expectation that we have to have it all together. That we need to know exactly what to say and what to do at the right time. And then that oftentimes is what leaves us feeling disappointed in ourselves. It's like, well, I should have been here, but it was here, here and here. There's not much difference, but it leaves us feeling disappointed. And I'm reading a book from Brené Brown at the moment called, it escapes me, Gifts of Imperfection. And it's all about what we expect ourselves to be. But then the reality is that we can't be authentic when we're leading this seemingly perfect but imperfect life. We just need to be ourselves and be authentic and truly love who we are. When we are looking in that full-length mirror naked, and to say, I love those stretch marks because I have my beautiful children that they represent and I'm so proud of them. It's like that lioness, those tiger marks, actually. And that's a symbol of strength and wisdom and experience, and I need to embrace that. So I don't have to be that slim, skinny model. And again, I see this quite a lot because I deal with weight loss, and people often come to me perhaps wanting to lose 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 kilos. And some of the people that want to lose a little bit less, they say, look, I want to look like her, that lady in the magazine. How can I look like her? And my response is, how can you look like the best version of yourself, which looks a million times better than her? Because that really is not reality. So be you, be authentic. And if the choice to lose weight is your choice, that's fine. But again, look at the reasons for that. Is it because you need to be, keeping up with the Joneses? And like you were saying before, it's, that with the Mercedes story, it's what other people expect of me. Well, I've got to fit in the size 8 dress because I'm going to my friend's wedding, I'm bridesmaid, and everyone else is skinny, and I need to look like them. Hang on. Ultimately, this is about your health and your life and your longevity. Looking at yourself and saying, I want to do this for me. Yeah, sure, I've got a wedding and I'm a bridesmaid and all the rest of it, which is fine, and there's nothing wrong with that. But having enough love and respect for yourself to say, I want to do this for me. I've got, and in that example, maybe you've got young kids and you want to see them grow up and be able to play games with them in the park. That's why I want to lose the weight, because I want to be healthy. I want the energy, the vitality, the strength to be able to enjoy them. The wedding will come and go. That's not forever, but I'm forever and I'm important. And so this is where I feel like I'm in a position that I can highlight that to them, to patients, to say, this is about you and love you for who you are, all parts of you, not just the good ones, but embrace perhaps those traits that you would rather change. And again, if you want to change them, you have the power to do so. Feel empowered. You can do anything that you choose to do. And oftentimes this is like a reality shock to a lot of people when I speak this way. No one's ever spoken to you this way before. And it's just amazing to see the transformation, because when people start to think this way, they start making adequate changes for their health and well-being, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and then by the end, it just transforms. And for me, that's the biggest privilege, because it's not about, okay, here's a diet and here's some exercise regime and take a few herbs and pills. It really has nothing to do with that. I have that ability to give them that information, but it's so much bigger than that. And to see that person evolve into this strong, independent woman or man or, you know, child, that's huge. And that, for me, is the reason why I'm here. It's my life purpose. And I'm so blessed that I've discovered that. And I know without a shadow of a doubt, it's just in every being, that I'm on the right path. So absolutely, totally, this is good.
Brilliant. You know that I was thinking, a few years ago, I saw an interview of the model, the fashion model Heidi Klum, and the reporter was actually saying to her, what could you tell ladies out there that they have had, like yourself, 3 children, and they want to go back to look like you? And she said to the camera, did you look like me before you were pregnant?
Mm-hmm.
And she said, I don't think so. So my message to you is, be the best version of you, like you were saying. Don't try and be Heidi Klum, because you are not Heidi Klum to start with. Mm-hmm. So trying to sell you a diet, or it's more about a way of life, isn't it? A choice, the way that you're going to take your life from that point onwards. And as you were saying quite clearly, it's about that triangle, yes? The mental, the physical, and the spiritual. Because if that's not balanced, we're not going to go anywhere fast. But sometimes people, perhaps, including myself, we have kind of like no real expectations. We want things to go like that now. And it doesn't happen that way, particularly as we're getting a little bit older. If you need to shed any kilos, it takes a little longer. It doesn't take that much to put them on. But it actually takes a lot of effort to realize that your diet needs to change, your way of thinking needs to change, and you need to find something that works for you, not something that works for a fashion model.
Exactly right, exactly right. Everyone's different, and it's about celebrating those differences and not comparing and saying, well, why don't I have what she has? You know, I'm different and I'm proud of it. And you should be proud of it, because God created you. And there's no other person on this earth like you. How amazing is that? Be the best version of yourself. Totally, absolutely agree with that, Raul. It really, really is important to be authentic. And on that note, I mean, as you're talking, I was thinking with patients, particularly when they do, you know, give me their rendition of how they would like to be and what they are like now. And they often berate themselves from the beginning, saying, oh, I hate, I call it the F word, and it's the FAT word. I don't like that word. I try not to use that word at all, because I think it's so derogatory and it's so offensive to themselves. So I don't use the F word. And it's interesting that when they speak, like, I feel like spirit is around me, particularly in this clinic. Spirit's around me, and I feel like messages are downloaded. And it's often, it comes out of my mouth. And I think, did I just say that? I have to kind of do a double take, but it seems to be exactly what that patient needed to hear at that particular time. And it's often the time that this big message that needs to come across for their growth and their well-being. And I've noticed that it's when they are berating themselves and when they are putting themselves down, they need a positive reinforcement, that positive, you know, empowering statement or phrase or whatever it may be. And it just gets downloaded at the right time, and it gets delivered at the right time. So I'm open as a vessel to spirit. You know, if there is a message that I need to convey, use me. That's what I'm here for. You know, I'm here to serve. I'm here to help, to support. And as you know, Raul, I'm currently in my clinic, and I've been here now for about 6 or 7 years. But when we first moved into this clinic, we renovated it. We painted walls. Most of the walls, as you know, Raul, are green, a beautiful green. And the first week that we moved in, and I was, mind you, before that I was working at a chiropractic clinic, and it was quite clinical, quite white, and you know, very different to what this clinic is now. But the very first week we moved in, the major difference was that as soon as patients would walk in, because again, I created my own space and I put my own essence into it, patients would just start crying straight away. Whether I knew them for a long time or they were new patients, they just bawled their eyes out. I'm thinking, what is it? What's in this clinic that's causing this? And I realised, I think it's the colour green, or it's the essence that I've put into it. But I thought this was amazing. It was marvellous that we could get straight to the bottom and the root cause of what was going on for them. There was no, you know, smoke screen. There was no barriers. They all came down. They could just be themselves and be authentic. And I think that's where my greatest work can occur, because we can just get to the bottom of it and support them and help them grow and make them feel empowered to make all those amazing changes for their health and well-being. So, yeah, that just came to me as you were talking. I'm like, yeah, it so resonates.
And it's the idea of creating an environment where people can actually, let the guard down and truly allow you to help them along their own pathway. But to help with, as you were saying, spirit is just sometimes so funny, because once you're open, whatever it will come down, and you are unable to stop it. You need to actually just say it. And because you're so open, it's that they're actually giving you the right words to use that perhaps you wouldn't have used in your regular conversation with a person, but it was exactly what they needed to hear. And sometimes, and I know when people see me perhaps for a reading, that I usually say, I will give you the messages that the angels give me. It may not be exactly what you want, but it will be exactly what you need at that point in time. And sometimes, as hard as it may be, you can be compassionate on delivering the message, but the message needs to be delivered. Otherwise, that honesty and that integrity really collapses. And that's what I love about your clinic. Yes, the minute that you walk in, you actually feel the energy. And I remember talking to you that you were telling me you looked after the clinic and positioning everything according to Feng Shui. So the energy flows well. And as you said, people come in and either they're happy or they really let it go and they start bawling their eyes out. And that's something so powerful. But also you have to do it with so much compassion.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I think that the word compassion is something that people use a lot, but it's about feeling it, and it's about having that interaction. What goes around comes around, because if you deal with somebody in a compassionate way, that compassion will come back to you, and sometimes it will come back in the essence of love.
Yeah, I agree. I think compassion is ultimately love. It has everything to do with love. Because even sometimes if you don't agree with what's said or what's done, when you take a different stance and you approach it with compassion, and again, we're all human, so we all make mistakes and we all say and do things that perhaps aren't the best at the time. But when you take that step back and you see the bigger picture, you can approach the situation with compassion. And ultimately that is love. You know, we can surrender and be angry and be resentful and, you know, lash back, which can be very easy to do. And I mean, personally, I do fall prey to that at times. But then I take that step back and say, hang on, look at the bigger picture. Look at this person, what they've been through. Why have they said or done what they've said or done? And then, you know, you put yourself in their shoes. And again, that comes from a place of compassion. So, and that's love. True.
I wanted to touch, and if you allow me, on your daughters, because they are extremely spiritual, and I would like you to share whatever you would like to share about them with people that are actually watching us, because I think it's quite important that we acknowledge what I will call this new generation of rainbow warriors. Because although I'm using the word warrior, but I'm using it in the best positive way, because they're coming with this rainbow light, and they're just amazing us in the way that they see life and in the way that they react to what it took us such a long time to get to this point spiritually. To them, it's kind of like our ending point is their starting point. They know so much more.
Yeah, I agree. Look, with my daughters, Isabella and Natalia, so Isabella's almost 11 and Natalia's 9. They are old souls. And I think back to myself when I was that age. I don't think I had any inkling what was going on. And I look at these kids and they just get it. They just get it. Like with Isabella when she was born, and as I started to see her grow, and she was just, I could tell she was intuitive. She would pick up, she's quite a sensitive soul, my eldest, and she just knows things and she'll relay that to me. And my little one, actually, when she was little, she would have a lot of dreams, vivid dreams. Until this very day, I could speak in her dreams and say, no, stop it, or yes, come here, and we hear it. But I think she's always had that connection with the spirit world because, of course, I think is it up to the age of 6, they're still really in touch with that other realm. And so I could see it in her eyes. And when my little one was born, my husband and I looked at each other and we said, she's been here before. You could just she's just an old soul. And the amount of compassion they have for other people, like not even an adult, most adults that I know would not respond the way they do. And they have that maturity and that in-depth understanding and knowledge. Again, as a child, I can't remember having that. So I think you're right, but these rainbow children, as you called them, you know, they are starting off with, well, we've kind of left off. Like we've had a whole life journey to get to this point, but they're waking up to it already. There's already this awakening, literally. And it's helping me become more awakened, seeing them like that. They're teaching me as much as I'm teaching them, if not more. And I'm open to that. And I love it because my mum's been a great teacher to me as well. Because, you know, and I think there's no rule book when it comes to becoming a parent. Like we just have kids and we hope for the best. And mum always says that to me. There's no book, but I'm learning as I go. And I love that because she is learning and she is growing and she's open to changing if she needs to change. And that helps me do that for my kids and hopefully my kids for their kids. So I think, and again, it's from a point of compassion. So we're so used to doing things in a certain way, but when we're open to other ways, and, you know, perhaps your kids need to show you those other ways, then how beautiful can life be? Because you're open to making the necessary changes to have a better life. You know, for things to be beautiful in every sense of the word. So, yeah, totally agree with what you're saying, Raul.
Yeah, I just think that children, they bring so much with them. And even when they're dealing with technology that we have to learn, and to them is second nature. I remember a little while ago, I was in Sydney at my niece's place and she has 6 kids. And the youngest, that at the time was only, I think 5.5, getting closer to 6. And I was saying to Veronica, my niece, I'm trying to download this app and I don't know what I'm doing. It's not happening. And the little one came next to me and she says, I can download it for you if you like. And that just made me laugh so much and it blew my mind. And Veronica says to me, if you let her, she can. And it's that idea that, yeah, they just, I don't know, they come with an iPad under their arm and they know how to use technology. Nobody taught her. She's probably just learned it from the siblings. But yes, she can download apps. Veronica was saying to me, I keep on changing my password because she keeps on actually getting in. And it's that idea that they understand the world that they need to live in. They understand that technology is part of it. But they're also, yeah, very in touch, very spiritual. She's happy to play outside and talk to the imaginary friend. And as you and I know, it's that ability to connect with spirit, to see that energy of the angels in whichever way she sees them. And that's what actually, yeah, it amazes me. I did have that with me when I was a child, but the way that they're not afraid to actually be that rainbow child.
Yeah, they're authentic. They're authentic, and they don't have to do or say anything to keep up with the Joneses, so to speak. They just did it themselves. And in one of Louise Hay's books, she talks about that as children, when we're born into this world, we're not afraid to say what we want. Like we cry when we want to eat. You know, we cry when we need our nappy changed, and we're not afraid. We're proud of everything. Even, and she says this in her book, even our feces, we're proud of it all. So isn't that beautiful that you're born just knowing? And these kids of today, they're born just knowing in every sense of the word. And they don't have to apologise for any part of themselves. They are themselves. They are authentic. So I think it's a lesson for us adults, really, to be more like them, to be more authentic.
But I remember my mother and my grandmother that they were Catholics and devotees of the Virgin Mary and the angels. And when I talked to them, they used to say to me, and that's why it took me such a long time to get to where I needed to be, because they used to say to me, it's lovely and we get you, we understand you, but don't speak about it outside home. People are not going to react in the same way. And I tried that a couple of times, and then you get into that ridicule or that bully situation with kids because they don't get you. And you suffer through that. And it was a lesson that I needed to learn. But I personally wasn't born in a space of time that I was clearly understood. I have to suppress that. And funnily enough, like yourself, we ended up going to Melbourne University, where the emblem of the university is an angel on flight. So when I actually got there, I thought, my God, look at it. You want any more messages? Does it get any clearer?
Yeah. And don't you love that? Sorry, Raul. Don't you love how Spirit's always giving us signs? Like, and the more you're aware of it, the more you see it. Whether it's a feather or a coin or angel numbers on your phone, and you keep seeing 1111 or 5555, and the more you're open to it, like how amazing. Spirit's always giving us clues. Just being open to that. Sorry to interrupt.
No. Amongst friends here. But it's that idea that it took us such a long time to get here. And for your girls, they're there already. I'm amazed. I don't know, I would like to be a fly in the wall when they are our age. What are they going to be talking about, and how evolved are they going to be? Because to them, this sentiment and this feeling of being one with everything is quite clear. Although they may not say it in so many words, you can actually see, and I'm sure you can see in your daughters, the way that they interact with other kids.
Absolutely. The maturity is just amazing. Like, you know, schoolyard bullying, I think it stands the test of all time. It's not something that ever goes away. And I know my eldest, Isabella, last year had a few incidences at school, and they had gone to a new school, and, you know, against they actually didn't want to leave the old school, but we had to make the choice call based on educational reasons. And it was hard. It was hard for her. It was hard for all of us. But she felt ostracised a lot of the time, not just because she was a new kid in school, but, you know, there were a few choice bullies, notorious bullies that had done it many times before, that were on her back. And I really loved the way she handled it, because she said to me, Mum, this is the situation. She was very upfront and honest. This is the situation. I've explained to this person, I actually stood up to her, and she'd never gotten that from anyone else. And so this was a rude reality shock for her, because I was the first person that actually stood spoke my truth and spoke my mind. And then she clearly didn't like that, so she became even more abrupt and offensive towards her. And she said, Mum, I said, look, I need to speak to the teacher. We need to sort this out, because this is not right. She said, no, Mum, I've got it handled. I've already spoken to the teacher. And in fact, tomorrow I'm going to speak to the other teacher, because I think he's actually going to do more than what my teacher's doing. So I just thought, wow, how empowered is this kid? I'm so proud of you. And I told her that. I said, if that was me, I would have crumbled at your age. But you've taken a stand, and you felt confident in your ability to stand up for yourself. Again, that's a huge lesson for a lot of adults, that, you know, it can be very easy to succumb and to surrender and submit. But she didn't. She chose to, no, I've got to speak for what's right. And this is clearly not a right situation and we need to fix this. And she was 10 at the time. So these kids are just amazing.
But also, kudos and congratulations to you and Joe, because you need to harness that at home, yes, in order for them to feel that they got things under control, because you show them the way, with words, with actions, with the way that you actually deal with people. As you know, better than anybody else, kids look at you, your every move, everything that you say, how it, how you actually interact with another human being. But it was, yeah, congratulations to her, because I wouldn't have done it. I probably would have gone home, cried to mom, and hoped that she will resolve it.
Me too. I would have done the same thing. But yeah, and thank you, Raul, for the acknowledgement. We're just doing our best, and we make mistakes. And I hope that we make not as many mistakes as, you know, victories. I hope there is more of the good stuff than, you know, but we're doing the best that we can. I think that's all we can ever ask of ourselves and of anyone else, just doing the best that we can and learning from your mistakes.
And this is what we're here to do, learning and evolving through love. And it doesn't get any clearly the love that children actually show for one another, because even to that bully, she was able to show love by saying, you know what, stop right there. Let me just take a step back and tell you who I am and how I expect you to treat me and how I will treat you back. And sure, the bully probably had a hard time, but she managed it. She talked to all of the teachers. It's sort of like, come on, that's serious guts to be able to do that. How old was she? 10?
Well, 10, so it was last year. But Isabella, again, when she was born, in fact, when she was in my tummy, when I was carrying her, she showed true strength, because we thought she was going to come out at 26 weeks. I had a threatened early labour, and this girl was impatient. It was like, I need to do this now. But thankfully, she ended up being 3 days late. So we kept her in, and she was healthy, beautiful, big, chubby, gorgeous baby. But from the very beginning, like even in her toddler years, she showed, like, if she wanted something, it was going to happen. And if she didn't want to do something, she wasn't going to do it. So of course, we had to harness that as well. So that can become an extreme. But we're finding a happy balance now. We really are. And she's grown and evolved, and so have we.
And at home, and I know you kept on telling me several times that they do their own readings. They have their own angel cards. Yeah. How do they enjoy that, and how that come about?
Because I've been doing it for years. I love my angel cards, and now I do it online. So if I don't have a deck handy, I'll just quickly do it online and ask my angels to send me the message that I need. And so I purchased, I don't know if it was for Isabella's 5th birthday, and I purchased her first deck of cards, her cards, and they were pink and just gorgeous, made for kids. And I said to her, and the strategy behind this was for her to use that if there were ever any issues, any difficulties, that she could call upon the angels, even if she didn't want to speak to me about whatever was going on, that her angels would always support her and protect her. And she had this special deck just for herself. And of course, the little one wanted a deck too, so we got her a deck as well. So they're 2 years apart, but the little one's really cute. She just follows suit. She's she just follows her sister wherever she goes. But Isabella really thrived with that. I found that was her outlet. So oftentimes I would catch her in every kind of glance without her realising that I was there, and I could see her shuffling these cards, and I thought, great, this is a great resource for her. And then a good friend of mine bought her second deck of cards, and then she started using those. And I just think it's a beautiful way to introduce spirit to these girls, although they already know deep down at soul level. But it's a beautiful way for them to cope with any stresses that life presents them. That they know that spirit's got their back always. Yes. And all they have to do is ask. And you know, even when they've had a presentation at school and they've been a little bit nervous, oh mum, I don't know if I'm going to do well, or I'm like, you know what, Archangel Michael's by your side. You just call him. He's there. He's holding your hand. You know, and surrender any fears, any doubts, any insecurities. Surrender them. Let them go. And then, sure enough, they do amazingly. And then their report reflected it. So I think it's just a beautiful way to introduce to these kids that, you know, spirit's there and always will be. Just ask. Because, of course, it's about freedom of speech. So unless you ask, then, you know, they you know, can't help, but they will help the minute you think of them.
Yeah, they're always there. They allow you the free will to make your own decisions. But at the end of the day, as you said, if you ask, they will actually give you the answers. But it's lovely to see young people doing that and harnessing that from a young age. And that's what I was saying to you before. I would love to be a fly in the wall when they're older and to see how much they have evolved, physical, mentally, but spiritually. And I think that they've been sent with such a big job ahead of them to try and change the way that we actually deal with Gaia, Mother Earth, and the way that we actually deal with one another at every level, whether it's at a school level or whether it's at the level of running a country. These girls and these boys, hopefully, are going to be the catalyst to bring that oneness into be. I think that we are, by doing this type of conversations, by sharing these ideas with one another and showing that we are real, showing that we're human beings, that we have our flaws. We're not trying to tell people how to live, we're only just sharing what we know. And that way, as Michelle will say, one conversation at a time. And I usually like to say one smile at a time. I think that by smiling to one another, even particularly on the street that you may not know the person, you are sending that energy of love. And that way we are building that structure that hopefully Izzy and Natalia will continue further on to bring it into to fruition.
Yeah. And I hope and pray that that's true. And I feel like that's my responsibility as their parent, that they've chosen to help them to do that. Because I know that's my goal, to bring that oneness and that wholeness and that awakening, you know, to bring love really into this world in any way, shape or form that I can. And I want to set that example to them because I think they can, and I think all these kids can. We all can.
Yes, absolutely. We're coming towards the end, believe it or not. We've been chatting away for almost an hour, but we've got quite a few minutes. If people want to find you, Paula, where can they reach you?
Yes, absolutely. So I do have a website, so that's at www.nnhealth.com.au. And we have a practitioner profile. Raul, yourself, is on that profile as well. So you can read a bit about what our modalities are, what we can offer, and all of our services too. So I do have a YouTube link on my website too, on the homepage. And it's just me explaining exactly what I do, you know, what my passion is all about and how I can help you to improve your health and well-being. So, and I do have a phone number, so I can share that 0415 517 445. And we're located at 40 Spring Street in Preston. So like you said, we're about 10 kilometres from Melbourne Central, or Melbourne City. And there is parking access at the back. It is by appointment only, so I'm very careful with how I structure my appointments. And I do really want to know a lot about your health and well-being before coming to see me. So I actually send you out information to complete some questionnaires. So I really get a good picture as to where your health stands at the moment. And then we take it from there. So yeah, so check out my website. I can send out an information pack as well if you need more information.
So the website again, please, Paula?
So www.nnhealth.com.au.
Brilliant. Paula, from me to you, thank you so much for coming on Enlightened Conversations.
Oh, it's my absolute pleasure. It's an honour and a privilege, and you know how much I love you with all my heart, Raul. You and Wayne, you're both amazing, amazing souls, and I'm really privileged to have you in my life, as are all of the people that pass you, and you have all your clients, and anyone that knows you knows that you're genuine. And so thank you for being in my life.
Likewise. Thank you so much for sending me so much love. I'll send it straight back to you. And as I usually say, remember, believe in angels because they do believe in you. To everybody out there, Thank you so much for joining Paula and me in these Enlightened Conversations. And we'll see you next time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye. See you.